Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Cimikoski with Utahstemcells. I just want to do an updated video on the coronavirus. I had started talking about the coronavirus, I think about 10 days ago or so, when it was kind of early on in the disease, or people getting to know about it. Already there had been a lot of restrictions placed by our government, and guidelines being placed. A lot of large institutions like schools, colleges, NBA, other professional organizations were starting to shut down the season or suspending it because of the risk of coronavirus. And my question at that time with the video that I did a short while ago was, why are we doing all this for the coronavirus when it appears, at least at that time, that the coronavirus was much more of a mild viral infection than the influenza virus? Also, the impact on society that the influenza virus has worldwide and in the United States is much more dramatic, much more significant than either what we've seen so far with the coronavirus, what we expect to see with the coronavirus, and also over the last 10 days or so, since I first made that video, we have a lot of new data. And I was kind of talking in that video in vague terms, not really having a lot of statistics, but I kind of, I threw a few of those out there, but I decided to do an updated version with what we know right now. And the first thing I want to say is that any viral illness is something that we should take seriously when it comes to respiratory flu-like illnesses, whether it's the common cold or the coronavirus or influenza. All these should be taken seriously, because for people that are very sick or on chemotherapy, diabetes, other immunocompromised conditions, elderly with COPD, underlying lung conditions, cardiovascular illnesses, all those patients are at very large risk from serious complications or even death from any viral illness, not just the coronavirus, any viral illness. So the question I have, and the question I'd like you to think about, and everyone else in the world to think about, is how does the coronavirus measure up to other viral illnesses that we're seeing this year and in previous years? That was the question I had posted in the last video I did. Now I'm going to get more specific and give you some numbers. So, current population in the United States is about 330 million. I'm going to refer to the notes I took. I kind of been watching a lot of different news programs, going to the CDC, going to the Johns Hopkins website, learning as much as I can about the different numbers that either help to support the theory that the coronavirus scare is being way overblown, and also using those statistics to say maybe we really are justified in doing all these crazy things and all these very severe measures to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. Maybe it's justified. I'll let you decide for yourself. I'm just going to give you the numbers and the facts, and you can use your own reasoning to decide. The current U.S. population is about 330 million. World population is about 7.8 billion. Okay, before we go further, I want to just tell you a couple fun facts about viruses. When you have a virus, let's say you got the common cold virus. Common cold viruses, the most common are things like the rhinovirus, picornavirus. There's even human coronaviruses that we've had through the years, and every year we have different types of coronaviruses. Little known fact, we talk about the coronavirus, which has been renamed by the World Health Organization as COVID-19. That's a little bit more specific. But the reality is there's been many different types of coronaviruses. I have to refer to my notes because I can't remember everything off the top of my head. But just to give you an example of the different types of coronaviruses there have been through the years, and every year, including this year, a lot of these coronaviruses just cause common cold type respiratory complaints or illnesses. There's a human coronavirus 229E, OC43, SARS, the one that was in Asia a few years back, which caused a lot of deaths when people got it. There was a high mortality rate with that, much higher than the coronavirus, for example. That's a type of coronavirus as well. SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, is a type of coronavirus. There's more. I won't name them all off, but there's quite a few of different types of coronaviruses. But being more specific, we can call this one COVID-19. But when you have a virus, like let's say you've got a common cold virus, a lot of people don't know this. You got a common cold virus, you're not going to catch the flu. It protects you from catching other viruses. So it's exceedingly rare to have two viruses at the same time. This is the way the body works. It's a wonderful thing, because if you've got the coronavirus, you're not going to catch the influenza virus. And if you've got the influenza virus, you're not going to catch the coronavirus. So as we go through this, I want you to think about something. We already know the coronavirus gives very mild illnesses in general. Most people that are affected by it who are healthy and not immunocompromised are very sickly or near the end of their life anyways. They do quite well with the coronavirus. In younger people, it very rarely causes any symptoms at all, or very mild symptoms. So that's the first thing. So if you've got the coronavirus, you can't catch the flu. So which is worse, right? Well, the flu, and I'll come back to that, but it's possible that the coronavirus is actually protecting people from even a more serious virus, from them getting even a more serious virus. People don't always think about that. So currently, let me give you some numbers about the influenza virus so far. So as of March this year, we've had about 46,000 people in America have been killed from the influenza virus, the flu, the common flu that we get every year. Every year we have a flu season. Some flu seasons are worse than others. So far this year, we've had 46,000 deaths. That's kind of an estimate. Why can't we give more accurate numbers? Because a lot of times we don't actually test for the flu, but it's a flu-like illness, and we don't have a confirmatory test that's been done. Because whether you have it confirmed to be the flu or it's a flu-like illness, the treatment's the same, really. So that's the first thing. A lot more people have been killed by the flu. And this year already, about 46,000 people have been killed, just an estimate. And then a lot more younger people are dying from the flu. So one nice thing about the coronavirus, as of a few days ago, or not that long ago, not a single person on this planet Earth under the age of 30 has died from the coronavirus. Take that in contrast to the influenza virus. A couple days ago, I looked to see how many young people had died from the influenza virus. Well, under the age of 4 years old, there's been so far as of a couple days ago, it was about 145 deaths. This year, there's been 145 deaths from the flu for kids under the age of 4. Even they are often susceptible when they have underlying other illnesses or special situations. So the nice thing about the coronavirus is it doesn't seem to be affecting the young folks. It's mostly just the old folks with comorbidities in addition. So as of March 19th, there's been 12,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the United States, and 171 deaths. 107. No one wants any deaths, so I'm all about that. And I'm going to probably go on a lot of tangents, go back and forth as I look at my notes and try to give you all of the food for thought. So there's been 12,000 confirmed cases. That just means that those are people that have had the test done, the coronavirus test, and actually confirm that they have it. However, there's thousands and thousands of people that have the coronavirus right now that have not gotten tested and shouldn't be tested. It's kind of ridiculous to be testing people in general. I mean, we have a special situation right now where we want to know better data about how many people are actually infected with the coronavirus. And so you could make the argument, and the government is making the argument right now, that more people should be tested just so we have a better feel for how many people have the coronavirus. But even though there's only been 12,000 roughly confirmed cases, we know that numbers of people who actually have the coronavirus is probably 10 times that. It's probably about 50 to 100,000, I don't know. But there's a lot more than 12,000 cases out there. The other thing but again, only 171 deaths, that's not too bad. The other thing to consider is that when we're talking about the prevalence of a virus or its mortality rate or its contagion factors, how deadly they are, how virulent they are, how aggressive they are. If people have the coronavirus and we're not testing and they have very mild symptoms, which they really don't need to be tested under normal circumstances, then then the mortality rate goes way down, because then ultimately you have a larger number of people that have the coronavirus, and that number of deaths still stays the same, because usually usually those people that are getting tested for coronavirus are those people at risk. And for those people that are really sick, then you kind of want to know what's going on. So those numbers are slanted. So the more people that have coronavirus, and those deaths are pretty good numbers of how many we have, then the mortality rate goes way down. So the safety, when I say safety, no virus is safe, but some are safer than others. Some are more virulent or problematic than others. So that's another thing you should consider, is that the fact that we're not testing more people, and we know that even amongst confirmed cases, the death toll is very low. That's very useful information. So we know, again, that contrast 12,000 confirmed cases of the coronavirus versus 46,000 approximately for the flu. And of the flu, we know that how many people have died. Let's see. Okay. That was I was giving you the wrong quote. 45 million, and all those people are going, wow, 46,000. That's how many people have died. Or maybe I did give you that quote. So 45 million people in America, 45 million, not 12,000, 45 million people in the United States have already developed the flu, around that amount. 46,000 have died. If I misspoke and said 46,000 people got the flu, really that's how many people have died. So now we've got 12,000 confirmed cases of people dying from the coronavirus, 46,000 people dying from the flu so far this year. Okay, if you were, and I just got through telling you, there are lots of coronaviruses. We have many different coronaviruses. So initially, when we first heard about this new coronavirus, the COVID-19, we didn't know a lot about it. So it made sense to restrict travel, really get the word out, tell everybody, hey, you got to protect the elderly. We already knew that the elderly were at risk. So that all made a lot of sense to do. And so I don't think that was an overreaction. But once the data started coming out and we started learning about who really is affected, because we have enough cases right now. According to Johns Hopkins right now, what do we got here? Let me find that statistic for you. As of right now, Johns Hopkins. Sorry about having to refer to my notes. I got a lot of notes here. Where's my Johns Hopkins numbers? Oh, shoot, I can't find it. I'll come back to the Johns Hopkins numbers. Just don't want to hold up the video too long. But we know that the coronavirus has a lot less, is affecting a lot less people, and there are a lot less deaths, let's put it that way. Now, let's compare the coronavirus versus other viruses we have every year. So every year we have a flu season. And so the one silver lining through all of these restrictions and all this media hype that we're getting on the television about how horrible the coronavirus is that, yeah, we are going to protect some elderly people that are at risk. That's a good thing. So I'm all about the hand washing, protecting people, doing all that stuff. Social distancing is good if you're sick. If there really was a truly a serious situation, then I'd be all for quarantining and things like that. But it's just a little bit odd that we're quarantining this particular coronavirus when we have so much more data, when all the other coronaviruses that we've had before, which I've already told you there's many different kinds, we've never done it before. Let me give you a couple interesting tidbits here. In 2009, we had the H1N1 flu, which was also called the swine flu. And there were, in that period of time, in 2009, when the swine flu was an epidemic, there were 60 million cases of that swine flu, 274,000 hospitalizations, and 12,000 deaths, okay? That was in the United States alone, okay? Just United States, 12,000 deaths, not worldwide. And 60 million cases of that. Again, as soon as I can find you the Johns Hopkins numbers, we're dealing with much less than that right now. Let me see if I can find that statistic again. I kind of recapped or what do you call it? I didn't copy and paste the whole thing because I was just really looking at those numbers. Let's see if I can find it quickly. Shoot, couldn't do it again. All right, we'll find it later, but it's not a lot of people, let's put it that way, on the Johns Hopkins list worldwide. All right, now, the next thing I want to talk about, is the swine flu. I think I just told you the swine flu was a lot more detrimental. And the other interesting thing about the swine flu is it killed a lot of young people. It wasn't just the elderly that were on death's door already. There were a lot of young people too. Now, again, do I think this was an overreaction by the government and the NBA and everybody's following suit? Absolutely yes. Based on these statistics and these facts, yes. If more time goes on, are we going to learn that coronavirus is a lot more deadly? Sure, but the statistics don't bear that out. We already know what's happening in China and other countries that have already kind of hit their peak and have leveled out. So far, so good with the coronavirus. Let me give you one other really important thing to consider. We try to use information that we have now to extrapolate and predict how bad something's going to get. We have a very unique situation. The Diamond Princess cruise ship they were suspected that they had corona cases on board, so they quarantined it. And that became like a miniature little city or a miniature, self-contained area where no one could come or go. So it was a great place to do a little bit of a study. They actually tested every single person on board. So there were, of the people on board, there were 700 infected passengers and crew. And let's see. And there were some deaths actually. And 7 deaths out of those 700 infected passengers and crew. So using that data, we can kind of estimate, and that was a very small sample size, so of course, you got to take that into consideration. But using that as an estimate, okay, 700 deaths, 700 infected passengers and crew, 7 deaths occurred from that. The epidemiologists can say that with reasonable estimates, the case fatality rate based on that model is about 0.05% to 1%. That's what you can expect.